Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode in my Stanley Kubrick director series that I feel like has been going on forever, but it really hasn't because I just took a little break doing it. I wanted to wait until I got motivated again, and just recently I just rewatched all of Stanley Kubrick's films in order over the course of October. In fact, I had planned to watch a bunch of horror films during October like I do every year. Actually, I watch horror films all year long, but I always double down on it whenever it's Halloween season. But because I got in a... See, there's a glare from the window over there because of my glasses. It's okay. Because of the fact that I was, getting hyped up to see Interstellar, which I'll probably be seeing next week, because I'm working on the opening weekend, I wanted to watch 2001 again. And so I watched 2001, A Space Odyssey, because it's in the same kind of, I guess you could say, genre, probably, as Interstellar. And I started watching 2001, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just start at Paths of Glory, or The Killing, or even The Killer's Kiss, because I watched it after The Killing, and just work my way up. So that's what I did over the course of October. So I got motivated to do this series again. As last week, I think it was last week, I did my Clockwork Orange video. So all the links for the previous videos will be down below. So be sure to check that out, and I also have them in a playlist as well. So today we are going to be talking about Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon. This came out in 1976, 75 is when it came out. And this is what, a lot of Kubrick fans kind of look at this film as like the, I know some Kubrick fans that just don't really like this film because it's a period piece, and they consider it maybe the bad film in his career, when in my opinion it's just as good as his best films. I think it is a masterpiece. I think it is brilliant. It is definitely the most beautiful film I have ever seen because of the way he filmed it. Basically it's about a character named Barry Lyndon who, he's very, I guess you could say, without prospects. And it just takes place during the 18th century in England and the UK in general, because it takes place in different parts of the UK. And basically it's just his, I guess you could say, adventures, because certain situations happen in his life, and then it just ends up showing his rise into nobility and how he gets there, and what, little adventures in his life he has to go through to get to that point. And so basically it's not really, it doesn't really have a plot. It's just you're following him through that, and you're just wondering how this Irish guy, because he's Irish, so actually it starts out in Ireland. You're just wondering how the heck does this Irish guy end up being part of English nobility. And it's just a kind of like a, I guess you could say, a satire of like the wealth and privilege of that period, but it's 100% a period piece. Kubrick films the film beautifully, and he actually kind of invented his own little lens for the film. He got these special lenses that were actually made for NASA, for the satellites and the telescopes and stuff like that, because it could really get some exposure. It has a very, very sensitive exposure on it, to where, if you're in a dark room and you have a candle lit, it'll pick up everything that's in there. It'll make it seem like it's an actual candle lit room. You don't have to have any backlights or anything like that, like most people do for film. And so that's what he did with this film, is that he did not use any, it was all natural light. So all the inside scenes, he didn't use any backlighting. I think they say that he didn't use any backlighting, but that's just completely a myth, because I guess a couple scenes that took place outside or with horses, I think IMDb says, he had to use a little bit of backlight for that. But all the inside scenes in a lot of the scenes, and probably like 99.9% of the film, is actually natural light. And so it just gives this beautiful look. You have never seen a period film look like this. There's a scene where Barry Lyndon is speaking to another man, and they're in a room full of people eating and just talking, and there's a bunch of tables everywhere, and each of the tables have candles on it, and that is what's lighting the scene. It looks stunning. It is beautiful. It's dark, but it's lit up, and you really feel like you're in that time period. Some of the scenes where they're in houses and buildings, you see these huge tapestries and paintings behind them, and the only reason why you could see them is because of the natural light coming through the window. The lens really just kind of like just brings that real look to the film, and that is what makes this film brilliant. The fact that it's just a brilliant period piece. But another thing that just is amazing about it is the fact that the costumes and all that kind of stuff that they wore, Kubrick did hardcore research and actually, like, you know, he wanted his film to look like a painting, and so he made sure all the period costumes had texture. And I think it actually, I'm pretty sure this film won. I mean, it won 4 Oscars, I know, for music, and I think, you know, costume design was one of the things that it won for. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it won for Best Art Direction, Cinematography, Costume Design, and the Score. Yeah, because the score is just, you know, classical, you know, classical music that fits the time period. It is just an amazing film, and I mean, I know it didn't do well at the box office, but now it's widely considered one of the best films of all time. And it's just brilliant. I don't understand how anybody could say it's boring, all that stuff, because to me, if you're bored by this film, you know, then you're not even taking into consideration the fact that each and every scene is just supposed to be an experience, and you're supposed to look at it in that kind of a way to where, I mean, even though it's not really plot driven, you're actually always kind of, your time's being taken up by looking at these beautiful scenes. It's like, you know, if you're going to the Grand Canyon or something like that, or you know, the Swiss Alps, or even something, you know, something like that. There's nothing going on there. Like if you're at the Grand Canyon, you're not going to look down and see a cowboy and stuff fighting, or not a cowboy, but, you know, people down there murdering each other and fighting and all that stuff. You're literally just going to see land that, you know, whether you're looking at mountains, you're looking at a landscape. There's nothing really going on except nature. And that is how this film is. You don't go to the Grand Canyon to see spaceships fly out of it and all this stuff and people play football. You go there to look at something that's not really moving, other than the fact that it's all the nature itself. And so that's kind of how you have to view this film. You're not looking at it, you don't go into this film thinking that it's going to be a gripping plot. You go into this film just to enjoy the beauty of it, and you get a really cool story of basically the rise of a dude, I guess you could say. Yeah, so it's just a great film. So I highly recommend Barry Lyndon if you haven't. If you haven't seen this, definitely pick it up on Blu-ray before you see it in any other way, because I think it is meant to be seen in Blu-ray other than the blue screen, or the you know, the big screen, I guess you could say. So yes, Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick masterpiece. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.